One thing I found, my God will work it out. Well, we jazz it up a little bit, and so we're gonna do a little different. Y'all ready? He's gonna work it out. Yes, he will. Before I knew my name and before I drew a breath, oh, he was making ways for me. Now and every day and in each and every step, oh, he is making ways for me. My heart is full of doubt, feels like my faith is running out. I'm too far to turn around. I know that God will work it out. God will work it out. One thing I know, one thing I found, my God will work it out. Come on, work it out. Watch him while he works it out. Work it out. Watch him while he works it out. Work it out. Watch him while he works it out. Work it out. Watch him while he works it out. I've been pushing past the fear. I've been fighting to believe. Oh, he's making ways for me. Yeah, and he won't let me down. No, he'll never ever leave. No, he's still making ways for me. He's still making ways. My heart is full of doubt. Feels like my faith is running out. I'm too far to turn around. I know that God will work it out. I believe that God will work it out. One thing I know, one thing I found, yeah, God will work it out. Be still my soul, be still and know my God, he's in control, he's in control. Be still my soul, be still and know my God, he's in control, he's in control. Be still my soul, be still and know my God, he's in control, he's in control. Be still my soul, be still and know my God, he's in control, he's in control. Oh, be still my soul, be still and know my God, he's in control, he's in control. Just be still my soul, oh, be still and know my God, he's in control, he's in control. Be still my soul, be still and know my God, he's in control, because God will work it out. Come on, sing it out. One thing I know, one thing I found, one thing I know, one thing I found, one thing I know, one thing I found, one thing I know, one thing I know, one thing I found, one thing I know, one thing I know, one thing I found, one thing I know, one thing I know, one thing I found. God is working it. One thing I know, one thing he's working everything together. One thing I know, one thing he's working everything together. Yes, he is. One thing I found, one thing I know, one thing I found, one thing I know. He's working it all together for my good. Yes, he is. One thing I found, one thing I know, one thing I know, one thing I found, one thing I know, one thing I found. My God will work it out, working it out. He's good like that. He's working it out. He's good like that. He's working it out. He's God like that. He's working it out. Yes, he is. He's good like that. He's working it out. He's good like that. He's working it out. He's God like that. He's working it out. He's good like that. He's working it out. He's God like that. He's God like that. He's working it, 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 working it. He's working it, working it. He's working it, working it. He's working it, working it. Working it, working it. Working it, working it out. Working it, working it out. That's just what he does. That's just how he is. He knows how to make a bad thing turn to good. He's working it, working it out. He's working it, working it out. 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 Working it out. Because God will work. Come on, sing it out, sing it out. One thing I know, one thing I found. My God, God will work it out.
Good evening, Wings of Love family and friends. We thank God for every last one of you all who have logged into Bible class. It is I, Minister Alvin Earl Jackson Jr. As always, we want to give everyone a second to be able to log in, to get settled, to get connected, to let everyone know that Wings of Love has started Bible class. So spread the word, send a text, let them know to log on in. So as we're waiting for everyone, Bible class is where we want to be able to slow the pace down, where we get to not be so speedy, where we don't have to rush the word. We take time to understand it, process it, learn how to live it out beyond Sunday. This past Sunday, Pastor Jackson did a wonderful and anointed job as he walked us through Daniel 3 and reminded us that God is able, even in adverse circumstances or adverse environments or chaotic environments or dark days. He showed us what it looks like to stand when the pressure rises and when the environment turns so hostile and so chaotic that we can stand. He emphasized that furnace seasons, listen, they're real, but God's supremacy, God's power and authority is greater than any system that tries to intimidate us as believers. Pastor gave us the declaration on Sunday. And so tonight, I want to move into deployment so we can be able to live this thing out, deploy it into our lives. Because it's one thing, Pastor talked about, where we can declare that God is able, but it's a whole nother thing to be formed into the kind of believer who stands in front of the fire and calmly say, while in the midst of it, that our God is able. And so Pastor Jackson centered us again around Daniel 3, the furnace moment, the stand, as I told you, the declaration. And so tonight we want to walk back into chapter 1 and chapter 2 to understand how we got to chapter 3 in the first place. Not to repeat what happened or what was preached on Sunday, but just how did we get to the fire? How did that moment happen? What was going on in the context prior? As I told you, Daniel 3 shows us the stand, but Daniel 1 and Daniel 2 shows us the shaping. And we don't, and if we don't understand, should I say, the shaping, we'll misread the stand. And so tonight we're not just revisiting the furnace, which is a great thing. We're tracing the formation of it and how we got there. Daniel 1 opens, church, as we get started with the loss. Church, Jerusalem is under siege. The city is representing a covenant identity that has fallen. The temple vessels are being carried out into Babylon. This is not just political or some type of political defeat. This is a spiritual crisis. Babylon's message is very clear. We have conquered your land, your king, your worship. But notice what Babylon does after that, what they does next. Because Nebuchadnezzar does not just take prisoners. He selects potential. He don't take just any old someone. Daniel tells us he chose young men from royal lineage. These were not random captives. These were selected. They were gifted, educated. They were strong. They were capable. Babylon wasn't just trying to destroy them immediately, though. They were trying to reshape them gradually. That's normally how the enemy works. He wants to tear you down and reshape you gradually. And the reshaping happened very different and very specific ways. They targeted 3 areas. Their names, which would be their identity, their education, which would be their intellect, and their diet, which would be their appetite. Daniel means God is my judge. He was renamed Belteshazzar, connected to Bel. He renamed Hananiah, which means grace of God. He became Shadrach, associated with the foreign god. Mishael means who is what God is. He became Meshach, reshaped around pagan references. Here it is. He's just renaming them and reshaping them. Azariah means God has helped. He became Abednego. Here it is. At the same time of being relocated, you have to be renamed and reshaped. Why did they change their names in the ancient world? We must understand to name something was to claim authority over it. If I can name you, I can claim you. If I can claim you, I can control you. Babylon wasn't trying to give them nicknames like they were cool peace buddies and homies. They were trying to overwrite their DNA and what they stood for. They wanted them to forget who they were in Zion so they would accept who they were in Babylon. Here's the lesson right here. You must understand there will be some adverse circumstances that you might come in alignment with, whether it's ordained by God or sent by God, or whether you're so disobedient that you're in these circumstances or environments. But I need you to understand, as Pastor Jackson shaped it Sunday, you're going to be in some environments or circumstances where the reshaping will try to take place. If you don't know who you are, if you don't have a sound foundation, you have to be careful of the reshaping, because you will look back at your life and say, how did I become so ugly? How did I become so chaotic? How did I become so nasty? And your reshaping has taken place and you didn't even know it, because you didn't stand on the foundation or on something firm that you could rely on in your weakest of moments. Babylon tries to change their identity, church, so that bowing eventually felt natural. They wanted bowing to them to feel natural. If you forget you are a child of God, you will start acting like a subject of the system. Formation is the art of remembering your name when everyone else is calling you something else. And then if we jump to Daniel 1 verse 8, it gives us a turning point. It says, but Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself. Before there was a furnace, there was a decision. Before there was public pressure, there was a private conviction. Can I tell you before, or should I say, can I ask you before I move further into the Bible class lesson? When you were faced with some pressured situations, what were you doing in your private moments to be able to strengthen you while you're in adverse situations or circumstances? I don't want to get further into my message, but I must ask you that question early on for you to sit and think. I've been in some crazy situations, and in my private moments, I don't think I was built up to withstand because I buckled to the pressure. Here it is. Before there was public pressure, there was a private conviction that they had. Daniel and his friends decided in private that they would not allow Babylon to redefine who they were, which teaches us spiritual strength is not built in crisis, it's revealed in crisis. Thank you, Pastor Jackson. The reason they could stand in chapter 3 is because they had already settled who they were in chapter 1. And when you settle identity early, you don't have to scramble later. You can work in environments where compromise is normal and still not become what surrounds you. You can be promoted without being polluted. You can gain influence without losing integrity. You can sit at powerful tables without bowing at them. And that's what it means to be positioned in the system without being shaped by it. Daniel and his friends didn't withdraw from Babylon. They worked in it. But Babylon never worked its way into them because they honored God privately. He gave them favor. He gave them wisdom. He gave them distinction, which means when we move into chapter 2, we're not looking at boys trying to survive, church. We're looking at young men positioned in the system without being shaped by it. And I must help you understand, as Pastor brought the word Sunday, you will be in some adverse circumstances or environments where the shaping will have to take place. But which way will you go? By chapter 2, they are functioning among the wise men of Babylon. They have influence, but influence does not remove pressure, it increases exposure. Nebuchadnezzar has a dream that troubles him. Nebuchadnezzar, he had this crazy dream. None of his magicians or astrologers could reveal it for him. And in anger, he orders the wise men to be executed. Now, the threat shifts because chapter 1 was cultural pressure. Chapter 2 is existential pressure. Their lives are on the line. This is no longer about diet. This is no longer about education. This is execution. Daniel's response is critical because watch the text. Daniel 2 verse 16 says, then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time. He asked for more time, church, and that he would shew the king and the interpretation. Notice what he does. He does not panic. He does not protest. He does not collapse under pressure. He asks for more time. Write this down, church. Godly wisdom knows the difference between a hurry and an emergency. The world is always in a hurry. The system is always at a rush, but the spirit is always at rest. And if the spirit can be at rest, so can I. If you can bear the cross, then why is it that I can't give you my little old funky problems? Daniel let the king's panic run his course because he wasn't going to allow it to dictate his pace. He knew that the revelation wasn't in the rush. The revelation was in the retreat. He didn't scramble. He settled. That's the purpose of the stand in the midst of it. You have to be able to stand firm. If you want to hear from God when the clock is ticking, you have to learn how to be still when the world is screaming. But let's look at Daniel 2 verses 17 and 18. It says, Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, that they would desire mercies of the God of heaven concerning this secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. He gathers the same companions from chapter 1, church, and together they seek mercy from God. Now, let me pause and ask you something. When pressure rises in your life, what is your first instinct? Let me just let that sit there for a moment. Do you react or do you retreat to prayer? Do you broadcast the problem or do you gather believers? Do you strategize first or seek God first? Because pressure reveals reflects. Daniel did not panic publicly because he had practiced prayer privately. What are you doing in your private life that can prepare you in your public profession that I serve God, that I believe in God? So I stand in the midst of the fire. I stand in chaotic and adverse situations. I stand in environments that I have to stand firm on and never waver in my faith, never turn from my faith, never act as if Peter did and deny him 3 times. Are you standing firm? What are you doing when pressure rises in your life? What is your first instinct? He did not isolate himself, church. He didn't go in fear. He gathered faith-filled companions. He did not rehearse the threat. He sought revelation. See, we waste time going over what I need to call somebody and vent. Listen, venting is cool, but sometimes venting ain't gonna help you. You need to get to your knees and say, God, I don't have the answers. God, I don't know the way. God, I'm a little confused. But one thing I'm certain of, that I can give my all, or should I say, I can give all my problems to you. I can give all my confusion to you. I can give all my uncertainties to you, because you are the most consistent there is in my life. You said you would never leave me nor forsake me. So why is it that I get so bothered when I'm in adverse circumstances, and my God is always able? He's able. He's able. Thank you, Pastor Jackson, for giving us that powerful message. That becomes the bridge between the chapters, church. Chapter 1 shows us discipline. Chapter 2 shows us dependency. In chapter 1, they refused corruption. In chapter 2, they relied on God for clarity. I need us to rely on God for clarity. Chapter 1 proves that they would not be compromised, but chapter 2 proves that they would not collapse. And when discipline and dependence comes together, conviction is formed. That formation is about to be tested now. When pressure comes, let's see how strong you really are. Because you can tell me you're strong. Like I told you in the beginning, it's one thing to say God is able, but it's a whole nother thing to stand in front of the fire and say God is able. That's two different levels of strength. One says, I know I can do it, but you ain't been tested yet. The other has been tested, tried, that say, I know it stands in front of me. The formation will be tested, which prepares us for where Pastor Jackson had us on Sunday, chapter 3, verses 16 and 17. In chapter 3, Nebuchadnezzar builds a massive golden image, not partially gold, church, but completely gold. First of all, how can you serve, worship, honor, surrender to something you built? Take a second just to think about that. You built, and I'm talking about us. I'm not even talking about, sorry if I hit the mic and it went across the speakers. Just us. Alvin Jackson is going to build something and worship and honor and surrender to that. I'm better and bigger than that because I created it. So why is it that in the same practical terms, we don't truly walk in and serve and honor and have reverence and fear for our God? So he builds this golden image, completely gold. It's almost as if he rejects the message in chapter 2 that his kingdom has limits. He gathers officials from every province. When the music plays, everyone must bow. This is not private worship. This is public allegiance. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you already know what they did. They refused. Notice the calmness of their response when brought before the king. Verse 16 still, we are not careful to answer thee in this manner, which means they were not anxious. They were not scrambling for words. They were not debating internally. Why? Because chapter 1 already settled their identity. Chapter 2 already strengthened their dependence. So let's connect the dot here. Back in chapter 1, verse 2, the Bible says Nebuchadnezzar took the vessels from the temple of God and put them in the house of his God. He took holy things and put them in profane places. These 3 Hebrew boys were just those vessels. They were holy vessels sitting on a Babylon shelf. The question for them and for us is, how do you stay holy? How do you become so consistent in your holy vessel when you're surrounded by profane things? The fire in chapter 3 was the smelt. It was the moment where the dross was burned off and the gold was proven. The fire didn't make them holy. It was just proof that they hadn't let Babylonians take over what they stand on, that the Babylonian shelf couldn't contaminate the temple oil that was on the inside. Can I ask you, church, what is on the inside of you that cannot be contaminated? What is it that is on? How strong are you? How quick are you to fall? You might be in a Babylonian workplace, but the fire will prove that you are still the vessel of the Lord. So when they say in verse 17, if it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But we cannot talk about God's ableness without finishing their sentence. Because in verse 18 says, but if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. First of all, you got to be thinking in your head, who you talking to like that? You three wise men done got carried away with yourself. Y'all think because y'all got this favor, y'all got some influence that y'all can talk to me like that? I know he had to be thinking like in today's time, we'd be like, if you don't bow to the throne, if you don't surrender to me, if you don't get on one knee, it don't say that what he said, but I'm 1,000% sure that he probably was like, he gave a look like, who they talk? Y'all ever knows when something happened, you got to look around. It don't even be nobody around, but you ever just look around and just say, it got to be somebody else in this room that you talking to like that. Those words are not emotional hype. They are the product of formation. Our God, which means they have a relationship. They says, whom we serve, which means honor and loyalty. Then they say, who is able, which speaks to his power. But then they say, but if not, like Pastor Jackson talked about on Sunday, speaks to our surrender. But if he don't, they are not discovering faith in front of fire. They are declaring faith that was built for the fire. So before they even got there, they already had this faith. Now all they got to do is just walk in it. Can I tell you, all you got to do is walk in it. You done talked the faith long enough. You done promised and swore up and down that you had all the faith. All you got to do is now walk it out. Just like the song said, just walk it out. Put in the comments, walk it out, walk it out, walk it out. They were declaring the faith. And this is what Pastor was emphasizing on Sunday. God's ableness was not created in the furnace. It was proven in it. That true formation means you trust God's character more than you trust a specific outcome. It doesn't matter the outcome. I trust God. It doesn't matter the circumstances. I trust God. It doesn't matter the environment. I trust God. All of the lights went out. I can't see left, right, up, or down. I trust God. The doctor said, I can't do this. I'll never be able to do this again. I this and I that they don't believe this, but God can. I trust God in spite of it. You said I can't do this. Man said I can't do this, but I believe I can because God is in the midst of it. God ableness is all I need. True formation means you trust God's character more than we trust a specific outcome. Listen. If you understand that, then you'll understand the belief system that they had. They believed he could deliver them in spite of it all. But they had already decided that even if he didn't, they would not bow. If everything had to be taken from you, I'm not talking about a couple things. I'm talking about your family, your money, your career, your health, your home, your worldly possessions. Can you truly still worship and honor God? How much are you willing to lose just to prove that I serve and will always serve God no matter what? This is what they were doing. In spite of the fire, they were still serving and honoring. This is anchored faith. Do you have anchored faith? Put in the comments. Hit the likes and the hearts for anchored faith. Hit the likes and the hearts if you truly have that anchored faith. And notice something else. The king ordered the furnace heat to be 7 times hotter. Sometimes when you take a stand, the situation intensifies. Obedience does not always reduce pressure. That's why I say all the time, if obedience is all you have, then that's enough. Even though it might not reduce it, it guarantees 100% that I am within the will of God because I am obedient to what I should be doing. Sometimes we don't know if we're in the will because we're disobedient. Sometimes we don't know if we're in the will because maybe it's adverse circumstances or situations. But I can guarantee you, if you're obedient, 100% of the time, you're going to be within the will of God because obedience is better than sacrifice. It's a reason why that's in the word. Sometimes it increases it, yes, but you're always going to be within his will. And if I'm within his will, then I know without a shadow of a doubt that God is going to come into my circumstance. God is going to come into my life. God is going to come into my family. God is going to come into my career and flip this thing around for my good. It doesn't matter how long it takes. I'm going to believe into my dying last breath that God is going to make this thing happen. But if not, that's what they said. But if not, formation prepares you for the 7 times hotter moments. If you were formed in chapter 1, the temperature in chapter 3 does not change your yes to God. It literally guarantees your yes because I believed I was formed. See, some of you alter your answers when the pressure gets hot. Some of you say yes when it's comfortable, but renegotiate when it costs you something. Some of you are bold in worship, but quiet in adversity. Strong when things are stable, but shaken when things are uncertain. Your foundation is questioned. And it's not because you don't love God. It's because the conviction wasn't built early. Heat exposes what was formed. Heat reveals what was settled. Heat magnifies what was never anchored. Heat does not alter conviction when conviction was built early. Can I ask you, how early is your conviction built? Pastor Jackson showed us on Sunday that when the king looked in, he didn't see 3 men bound. He saw 4 men loose walking in the midst of the fire. The ropes may have been bound, but they were no longer bound. Church, sometimes God allows the furnace not to burn you, but to burn off what was holding you back. Thank you, my God, Pastor Jackson. Hit the likes and the hearts for our man of God, giving us that powerful word. The 4th man didn't appear until they were already in the heat. Chapter 1 gave them favor. Chapter 2 gave them revelation. But in chapter 3, he gave them his presence. Formation ensures that you don't need to see the 4th man go into the fire. You just need to know that he's the kind of God who won't let you walk through it alone. So God, either you guide me through it or you walk with me through it. It doesn't matter long as your hand and presence is on it. The king said the 4th one looked like the Son of God. That's the pre-incarnate appearance of Christ before he was born in a manger. He was walking in a mansion of a fire with his people. He is always with us. So no matter what, never doubt him, never leave him. He's going to be with us. When you are formed for the fire, you realize that the fire isn't a place of punishment. It's a place of fellowship. And I want to always be in fellowship with Jesus Christ. Daniel 1 showed us formation. Daniel 2 showed us dependence. Daniel 3 showed us demonstration. He demonstrated that he will be with them. He demonstrated that he will never leave them. He demonstrated that he will jump into the fire with them. It doesn't matter. The fire was visible, but the formation was hidden. And that's the point of the lesson tonight. If you want to stand under the pressure, you must be formed before it. If you want to speak calmly in crisis, you must settle identity early. If you want to declare that God is able with confidence, with loudly, with boisterous swag, you must walk with him consistently because that's where you get your strength from. Because every formed believer will eventually face a formed fire. But how much strength will you have when you face the fire? Babylon tried to rename them. Babylon tried to restrain them. Babylon tried to intimidate them. But because they were formed before the fire, they were not consumed by it. So the question for us tonight is not only can God keep you in a furnace, the deeper question is, what is shaping you right now? Because chapter 1 decisions determine chapter 3 outcomes. What are you deciding now in your chapter 1? Maybe it's some of us who are in our chapter 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever it is. Before I get to my victory chapter, what are you doing right now? And when God forms you in private, you will not fold in public. Sunday gave us the declaration that God is able. Thank you, Pastor Jackson. Tonight reminds us that God doesn't just rescue people. He forms us as his people. And when he forms us, no system, no pressure, no fire, no cultural shift, no political climate, no hostile environment, no adverse circumstances gets the final word over my life, because formation produces stability, and stability under pressure becomes my testimony. And I have a testimony that God is with me in the fire. And that's the Bible class lesson. Wings of love, I love you. I always appreciate you. The information to be able to give is on the screen. I love our pastor. Even though I was watching it on my phone just to prepare for tonight, it burned in the preparation and the presentation for sure, because I was on fire when I was hearing it like I was there. So I only can imagine how you all were, even though the mics were going out. And the speakers were going out. It doesn't matter. Pastor Jackson, that word lit me up. Hit the likes and the hearts again for our pastor one more time. We can never, ever show him too much love. He don't show love for himself, so I'm always trying to show love for him. Listen, let's go in prayer as we get ready to dismiss out of Bible class and prepare for Sunday, or should I say prepare for the rest of the week to get back to Sunday. All minds are clear. Heavenly God and Father, we want to thank you for the word you have given to our pastor, that you are able in adverse circumstances. That God, we know that you are able. That God, we need your strength in the midst of adverse situation. We need your strength in the midst of the fire. We need your strength in the midst of chaotic environments. That when we know that when we rely on you, that we can overcome whatever it is. As I stated, God, no system, no pressure, no fire, no political climate, or no hostile environment can stop us for what you have for us. So now, God, when we depart from this Bible class lesson, get us through Thursday, get us through Friday, get us through Saturday, get us back to church on Sunday. Touch our man of God, our leader. In your son, Jesus' name, we all can hit in the comments, amen, hit the likes and the hearts as you are dismissed. Listen, peace out, y'all. I'll see you Sunday.